Welcome to the Runna Podcast. I'm Coach Anya, an international marathon runner.
And I'm Coach Ben, and one of the co-founders of Runna.
Each week we'll be deep diving into the world of running, speaking to some inspiring individuals about their running journeys.
Runna is the #1 rated running coaching service worldwide. We help hundreds of thousands of people all over the world to train for any running goal. And if you want to try out Runna for free, you can try it out using the code Runna Podcast, all one word, to get 2 weeks of free access to the Runna app.
Today on the podcast, we have the incredible Oenone Forbat, who is an author, podcaster, stand-up comedian, and has documented her fitness journey for the last 10 plus years. She's an incredible, inspiring, influential, hilarious person, and you're going to love this episode.
Hello, Oenone, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
We have a very exciting episode because we have 2 guests, not just one. Who have you brought with you?
I've brought I can't really say daughter, my dog, Astrid, with me today. She's not very talkative. She mostly just chills.
Very exciting. So I guess we love to start off with where you got started with your kind of fitness journey. And I guess for context, Anya and I have followed you from many, many years ago. So I think it's a bit of a fangirl moment for both of us getting to chat to you. But would love to know, what is it that got you into moving your body all those years ago?
Do you know, I wish it was sport, because I went to a really sporty school and I think sport is such an amazing unifying thing. And I don't really play sports till now, but it wasn't that. It was bodybuilding when I was at uni after a breakup. It was actually because I was trying to get a revenge bod, which is a really bad motivation and very outdated. But that was the thing that gave me the bug for weight training, which I'd never really tried before. And then the minute I got into that, I was like, oh, I like this. Because before, exercise to me had always been quite scary, and I was really conscious of my body, and I found like cardio stuff really difficult because I was just embarrassed about like the way that I breathe. And then don't know if it's the way that my body works or like how I do things, but lifting to me was like, oh, this is so fun. And then that set me off on a journey to basically.
Amazing. And I guess, is it that like growing up, sports and exercise was like a punishment, or June, what was it that meant that you hadn't been able to find maybe endorphins until you touched weights in the gym?
Do you know what? I went to one of the most sporty schools in the country, firstly. So like if you're a bit shy in the exercise department, there are like Olympic hurdlers next to you. So it's not very good for kind of bringing out confidence. But loads of mine came from body image stuff. I just felt embarrassed being in PK. I felt like I wasn't good enough. And it just made me not want to try, which really frustrates me now and it really upsets me looking back, because I couldn't be further from that person. But I just kind of decided that it wasn't for me. And again, I do think it is that punishment thing. I don't think we're taught about the benefits of exercise. And it was something that I would rather be like, well, I used to, when we went to games, I'd mostly be like drinking wine and smoking cigarettes behind the bin somewhere. So like I wasn't ever really doing it. And then when I got into it, I look back and I'm like, God, imagine I would love to be able to play like rounders, then go and do netball, then like have all of this available to me now. And at the time I was like, oh, I'm on my period like every day of the year. So to get out of it.
Why did you love the gym and bodybuilding? Did you feel like your body did fit in that space, or did you like kind of like not care about your body in that space?
I think it was just a different type of movement. When I was at school, the gym for the girls literally just had like very basic resistance machines and treadmills and BOSU balls and stuff. And the boys' gym had free weights. And the minute I got onto a squat rack and started doing like actual weights, I loved it. It was something about the movement, the shortness of it. It was like, I didn't feel like I was getting really out of breath. I felt like I was strong quite quickly. It was like I adapted to it well. So it was just obviously an exercise that suited me. And I often wonder if I'd been able to try that when I was younger, if I then at that point would have been like, oh, I love this. And I think it was just, I guess as well with sport, it can be quite nerve-wracking because it is a team thing. So if you mess up like a netball, I was always like falling over and stuff and you just be embarrassed and like, I'm messing up for everyone else. I guess because weight training is more solitary, you're just against yourself. You can get in your own head, put headphones on. And because I think I had like performance anxiety in sport. I used to do drama and singing. I love being on stage, but put me like on a pitch doing any sport and I would just crumble. I probably would have been fine at it, but I just really got so nervous. So I think learning to be good at exercising in a controlled environment like the gym, where you can kind of switch off and like everyone's just looking at themselves. That really helped me to then be like, actually, I'm not really unfit or really weak. Like I can do this.
And all the while, you documented your journey into the gym and grew up kind of quite a big following and inspired lots of other women and everyone to train as well. did you find that made it easier, helped you be more accountable? Did it put pressure on you? How did that feel?
It's such a different time because back then it was so much about diet culture and body image, and I was posting a lot of like before and after pictures, and that was just the time. It definitely held me accountable, and it created a community as well. It was before like being an influencer was really a thing. So when I was doing it, it was amazing just to have access to all these different people, and I would have these amazing conversations, and the pool of people that were creating on Instagram at that point in time was quite small, so that everyone knew each other. To this day, like all of those women that were coming up at the same time around me, I now know them really well, even though they were like my icons, because also there's so many people creating now. It's like, it's so inundated. So it was really inspirational. I then did get to the point where I got quite fatigued of talking about women's bodies, and I wanted exercise to be about all the benefits that we talk about now. But I'd kind of shoehorned myself into this position where my niche online was like weight loss and fat loss. And so that's when I started my podcast, which was about all the things we didn't get taught in school, which is very much not about what you look like. It was like how you think and why you think and what you don't know. And having that separation then allowed me to go on and find exercise in a more holistic way that wasn't just about protein shakes and abs.
Because I think it was probably for me 5 years ago when I was 21, learning a lot about feminist views from your podcast, which was so insightful. I presume the majority of your following were female?
I wonder if I had more male followers when I was doing fitness stuff because there was a lot more body pics. I think now it's mostly women. Someone was asked about the other day. They were like, "She got weird DMs." I was like, "No, never. I never got weird DMs. I just get really interesting people sending me really interesting messages." But I do still have a majority female. I did have a majority female audience, but I did have some guys back then. It's always been mostly women, but yeah.
And I guess your fitness motivations, as you said, started out trying to make an ex-boyfriend jealous. And it sounds like now they're very, very different.
Yeah.
What motivates you to move your body today?
Well, now it's really like from a mental health point of view and movement. And I have no real strict rules around what exercise. So I've learned to love all exercise thanks to Runna. I love running. And I'm not joking when I say that was my like biggest fear of exercise was running. That was at our school every year we used to do a 10k run, and I used to dread it. I used to be like pretend I'm ill. I used to try and get out of it. I'd always get caught trying to like skip the course. Like I was so scared of running. And I've tried over the years to like get into it and I've gone more. So running isn't part of my roster. I love reformer Pilates. I still gym like 2 to 3 times a week. Gym to me is so not, it's so not mindless. I don't know. It's so therapeutic. It's so easy. I don't have to think about it. I don't need any motivation to go to the gym. It's such just like a natural movement because I've done it for so long. Whereas things like running, it still sometimes does take a bit of like, got to psych myself up, and I find it a bit more challenging. But depending on what I need on whatever day, I have those resources for me, for my mind. And I really feel it if I don't move for like, it doesn't matter if I don't do a few days, but say there's a week where I can't move, I'm a bit like, oh, I don't feel good. And then I'm like, oh, I haven't moved. I always walk, luckily, because I have Astrid, which is great. But yeah, so exercise for me is like, try to never really think about my body, to have a very good relationship with food, and movement is literally just for the sake of feeling good within myself and getting outside.
I feel like that's like a narrative a lot of us go through. Like so many women do get into it for body image, and then they learn like yeah, how good it makes you feel, and the fact that you don't have the pressure of, well, we'll get into it, but like you've changed, you know, the purpose of your following in your community from being just fitness to everything that you now do. But now you don't have the pressure of needing to post, you know, your workout for the day. It really shows that you do now still do it, but because you genuinely love it.
Totally. And it can be, it's funny when you had it, I used to find it so much harder when my goal was my body, because then when I felt really good in my body or when I felt really bad, I wouldn't go, because if I felt too insecure in my body, I wouldn't want to go to the gym, because I was like, well, I don't want to put gym coat on because I don't feel good. Or when I felt really good, I was like, well, I guess I don't need to go because I look great. And it was funny, I almost went less, whereas now it's because it's not about that. My thing I tell myself always is just try and move today. If that is just walking, that's fine. If it's running, if it's Pilates. And then the goal is so easy that I do it, and it's not like, I don't know, sometimes I think if you have those body focused goals, it creates a barrier between you and exercising, whereas it should just be about like just moving.
I mean, I think I went on a very similar trajectory. I started to look good when I was 15, 16 and started to like girls, and now I move because I want to be fast and happy.
Yeah.
I guess like along the way, you had to learn so much about how to move your body in the gym, and then you went on to become a personal trainer as well. So you've kind of gone from knowing very little to then being able to help others make that same journey. How have you found that?
Well, I became a PT quite soon into my Instagram, because basically I was posting about my own journey and then people started asking me loads of questions. Basically everyone in my family is a doctor apart from me, so I've very much been brought up, but like everything has to be evidence-based and you can't talk about something unless you know what it is. So I was like, I guess I have to be a PT, but I didn't have any money, so I made a pitch for my sister to loan me the money so that I could qualify, and then had to pay her back with the money I earned from PT, which I did. And then so I was doing like online coaching, but I also just had it at the time just so that I felt like I was qualified to like talk about fitness. And then when I moved to London, I was doing PTing. But again, I kept coming against the same thing where women were just coming to me wanting to lose weight. And I found it I was like, what about just like, I'll give you the tools of how to train. And it just, after a while, I was like, I don't even want to talk. It's so boring to me to just be talking about weight loss. And luckily, lots of the clients I got then over time through my content changing as well and me being less body focused, I was like, my goal as a personal trainer was always more to teach people how to train properly, how to exercise efficiently, and also how to like proper form. Because I think one of the hard things that happens nowadays, and that's why Runna's so amazing, because it has so much information, but lots of people go to like classes and stuff and you watch people's form and it's so bad and you're like, oh, it's just stressful, you're going to get injured. I think the best thing about having a coach or PT is actually learning the tools so you then can go and do things by yourself. So I did that for a while, and then eventually all my other work kind of took over, and now fitness isn't something that I have in any pocket of my work really, apart from with you guys, which I think is also nice, because I did find it funny that when it was my thing, people only wanted me to talk about fitness. And I think what's changing in this world now is it's like you can be anyone and do anything, and you should still like really value moving your body, and that's a really nice thing, rather than it being like, oh my god, you're a gym girl or a gym bro.
And so I guess talking about all of the rest of your adventures and the rest of your life and the rest of your work, we've got author, stand-up comedian, podcast host. Where do you want to start?
Where do I want to start? What, just telling about?
Tell us about. We want to learn about it all. I mean, being a stand-up comedian is something that requires an enormous amount of confidence. And how did you find doing that?
So I did stand-up from 2018 till 2022 when I was writing my memoir, because I found it really hard to swap between those two. My memoir is quite earnest and it's quite personal, and then it's a really different brain from writing jokes, which is like just a different part. So I've stopped. I want to start again, so I just went to the Edinburgh Fringe and I was watching my friends do stand-up, and I was like, A, laughing, and B, just like seething with jealousy, because I just wanted to be doing it. But I've always loved performing. It's funny, lots of people that end up doing Instagram, or loads of the cohort of people that are fitness influencers from my generation, like Tally Ryan, Alice Living, had a background in like drama or dance or the arts. There's something quite performative about movement and also like posting online. So I'd always been someone that had like sung and danced and performed on stage. So even though stand-up might feel alien to me, I loved it. I would just get into a character, and my character was just a very sort of hyperbolic version of me. Like, it's not funny anymore, but at the time I used to have my whole kind of show was just about me being a really posh white girl who's an influencer, but it was me like taking the piss, so just really extreme. And I love doing that. I'd love to do it now with maybe a bit more of an advanced take on what my show would be about. But yes, I love that. And then adulting, as I said, kind of came about because my degree was in English literature. I'd always wanted to be a writer. I said to my parents, I'm moving to London, I'm going to be an influencer. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, well, that's obviously never going to work out. And look at me now. So then I started this podcast again about being like posh privileged women. I just realized I was actually really ignorant and had like an incredible education, but had moved to the city and was like, I don't actually really know anything about the world. And so started this podcast with me as sort of this default ignorant person interviewing loads of interesting and incredible people. And I did over 100 episodes of that, and then stopped it after the pandemic because I'd been doing it every single week, and the pandemic throughout the whole thing like never stopped. And I was like, I just need a bit of a break. And that's kind of when I got my book deal. Then I wrote my book. And it's funny, my career's always ever inching closer to what my dream always was as a child, which is to be a novelist and an author. But I've gone like so around the houses to get there. And now my main thing that I'm working on is writing. So I've been writing more on my Substack, and I'm trying to work on a big creative project currently. And it's funny because it's like my dream, but the fact I had to go through being like a fitness influencer and a PT and a podcast and whatever to eventually maybe get to the goal is, quite fun.
Hey guys, just a little note from us. Anya and I are so excited that we managed to hit the #1 spot in the UK in the Running Podcast charts. So as a little bit of a thank you to all of our loyal podcast listeners, we managed to organise 15% off all of our Runna merchandise. So head to the Runna website, and if you use the code, all one word, all caps lock, MyFastSocks, you'll get 15% off any of our items on the store. So thank you for listening, and go and enjoy, go and get your hands on some Runna merchandise. And you just spent 2 months in Paris writing?
Spent 2 months in Paris, writing and just living and working. I was like, I rent in London anyway, and I always work from home. I do not have any need to be anywhere. And the time difference is an hour. And I was like, why don't I just go live somewhere else? Annoyingly, obviously because of Brexit, it's very hard to stay somewhere for a long amount of time. And because the Olympics coming up, I was like, don't want to get too close to that because it was going to be extortionate. But my mum is Irish, so I am going to get my Irish passport because I think it's a great thing to do. Like if you can work from home and you can go on the Eurostar, I mean, it's just really inspiring to be in and amongst a different city, see different things. I found some beautiful parts to run around. I trained for my half when I was there, which was really nice. Yeah.
I feel like you pivoted so well in your career because so many people, fall into the world of influencing, and your purpose was Tiny Tank. And then to be like, I don't know if I leave this, whether I'm going to have any success in anything else. And that's really scary. And I think a lot of people are finding that now. I mean, I literally relate to you so much. Like your whole journey, I feel like I've grown up with you. And also like when I was performing at my highest with fitness, which is the wellness industry, I wasn't my wellest person almost. And yeah, I want to now have the longevity in the sport and enjoy just moving my body and also grow as a person and be a better person and learn. Like you've taught me so much.
No, but I think it's funny because it was cultural, wasn't it? Like when the age of like when I was starting out, when I was doing all that bodybuilding stuff, that was kind of what was in the culture and in the water. So it's so funny that we all went through this, but it's kind of like, of course we did. We've gone through like the diet culture, then the anti-diet culture, and then the body positivity. And then now it's like, luckily I'm too old to hopefully get impacted by this stuff, but you have like this like heroin chic and like Ozempic and everyone being really skinny again. And it's like, I think if I was 21 when this was happening now, I'd be completely sucked into that. So it's like, it's whatever you're kind of growing up, and we were all reacting and responding to what was in the culture and what was happening. And yeah, but that was very sweet. Thanks.
So you trained for your first half marathon?
Yes.
And you said you didn't like running as much, / it took a lot more mental energy. How did you find training for Hackney?
So I had been trying to get back into running anyway. I've never really, I got into it once in one of the lockdowns. Can't remember. I think it might have been the beginning one. I think I'd done a thing with Shelter Charity, which was like, see how many steps you can do in a month to raise money. And basically I got really into running, but in hindsight, what I've realised what it was, I used to live in Streatham Hill and I used to run to Brockwell Park, and the run from my flat to Brockwell Park was like 3.5k completely downhill. So I would just roll down this hill and then have like 1k around Brockwell Park. And I was like, God, I'm so quick at running, and it really motivated me. So I got really into it. Then I moved and I tried to like run around Clapham Common just on a flat, and I was like, God, this is hard. So I basically didn't run again. And then I was like, I really want to get into it. And I'd started to run, and then someone messaged me from Runna, and I was like, this is perfect. I really want to get into running. I've been kind of trying to do it anyway. I had to work through so much like mental stuff. So many of my insecurities that I had around my body and stuff have gone. But it was only when I was running, I was so conscious of my breath. I was conscious people were watching me. I felt embarrassed. And then I would see people running. I'd be like, no, I can do this. But there's such a mental block for some reason with running. I've just found it really humiliating. And then having the Runna program, which I then started on, just gave me so much confidence. I was like, okay, there's a guide here. I can do it. Like, I'm not going to die. And also everyone else, it's a nice time because everyone's kind of getting into running. So I was like, of course I can do this. I used to be so jealous if someone would be like, I've just gone for a run. I'd be like, what do you mean? How have you done that? So then never thought I'd do a half marathon. Had never run further than 10k. And then it got to the point where I was like going on a 10k for fun. I was like, oh, a fun little 10k. And then like 15k, and then I ran a 16k in Paris. And it's just, I think, that cumulative effect of keeping going. And when you have a program and something to keep you accountable, it makes it so much easier. What I used to do was I'd sometimes happen across a good day where I'd shoot out the house and I'd do a run. I'd be like, I feel great. There'd be no structure around it. And then I got another day, sprint so fast, be completely out of breath, and then be like, I'm going to have to walk back home. And so just having some parameters around my training and showing me how to progress. And I love those sessions where you're doing like interval training and it's not just short runs.
Makes it a bit more fun.
Makes it more fun, and it just gives you a sense of progress and moving forwards. And it just meant that when I got there, it was like, of course I can do this, because I trained for it, which I think some people just obviously will go and do a half marathon and have no preparation.
And to some extent, it's almost like that experience that you found becoming knowledgeable as a personal trainer, helping people come and join you. You weren't as knowledgeable in running, and you almost needed to sit on the other side of it. Have you found that now, like doing learning a lot more and doing finding structured training means that it's helped with those insecurities around your breath and everything else that you said came with running, or are you still frightened?
No, I'm definitely much less insecure, because it's just that thing of the unknown. It's like anything. Sometimes you might have a natural talent or proclivity to something, and then you do it straight away and you're great. But most things you're not good when you first do them. And so now that I feel confident and comfortable doing it, I don't have those like insecurities anymore. I was even embarrassed that I wasn't really quick. That was something I used to stress about. And then I was like, well, that's just, who cares? Like, no one has to know. Another thing I loved is, like I was saying, like the gym is so easy to me that it's like second nature. I don't really think. I have a million little programs in my head and I'll go and do whatever I fancy. But with Runna, I love doing the weight training, which I think is an amazing part of the app, and it's something I always sing about, because I find that like plyometrics and single leg work and stuff really fun, because it's not something I ever really focused on in my training, and just having someone else kind of take off that load. And my calves look amazing. Actually, someone took a picture of me. I did have little heels and I was like, wow. So that's been fun. Yeah, so it's just given me confidence, given me a different way. You can get stuck in a rut with training. You're just kind of doing it, going through the motions. And it's just given me a different way of looking at exercising and building a different sense of strength. And also I think what's nice about running is you can have goals which are like length goals and speed goals, and you don't have to think about anything to do with weight loss. I never do anyway. But it's fun to have a new thing to work towards. I used to, for a long time, work towards being really, really strong in the gym, and I was obsessed like lifting really heavy. Then I kind of got over that because it takes so much time to load up the bar if you're that strong. So I was like, screw that. Honestly, the hip thrust, I was like, it takes about half an hour to get them on and off. So I gave up on that. But so like getting quicker is really fun, or like doing a longer run. They're just such fun metrics to play with, and you don't need any equipment with running, which is just...
And do you find it's a good way also to bring out your creativity for everything else that you do?
Well, I love being outside. It's a really good reason to get you outside. And I love listening. One of the things, actually, this is what I did when I first started training for my half, when I first started my runner program. I had this really good audiobook, and I didn't let myself listen to it unless I was on a run, which was really good to like just get me out the door, because I was like, well, I want to listen to like the next bit of my run. And then it got me into it, because I was like, you can't listen unless you go on a run.
That's a really good idea.
It was really good because it was such a good book. And I was like, I guess I have to go. Because I think the hardest thing with any exercise is just doing it. Once you're doing it, it's great. Once you get to the gym, once you start the run, you just got to keep going. But it's that bit when you're sat in the house and you're like, come on, we're going to go now. And then you're like, oh, well, if I don't leave the next 5 minutes. So having just, that was good.
So should we see if we can talk to Spotify and get them to like change the settings on the podcast? So it only starts playing when you're running, and then like you can only listen to the podcast on a run.
But it's honestly, and also just being outside, there's something about, as I'm sure everyone is, I'm so addicted to my phone. I have to be on my phone for work. The only times I'm not really on my phone is when I'm in the gym on a run, or like in a class, like just because I...
Do you leave your phone like in a locker at the gym?
No, because I use it for like timing and stuff, but I just won't. I'm like in the zone, so I won't look at it. It's just like I'm so timed on my rests, so like I never get stuck on my phone. And just being running, especially on those long runs, the euphoria I'd feel, and just that there's something really special. It's very calming of the mind. I still can't run without music. I have tried to be with my own thoughts, but I'm not quite there yet.
What kind of music are we talking?
Oh, all sorts. Sometimes
so much about someone.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's like a summer happy playlist. Sometimes I'll go in the gym. I listen to quite misogynistic like rap music. If I'm listening heavy, like kind of have to like psych myself up. But on a run, like if it's a long run, I'll try and listen to something slower, and then I might swap to a podcast or audiobook halfway through when I need to just like when I'm in the rhythm. I don't know. I listen to all sorts of music, anything from like Motown to Doja Cat to whatever. And
so Hackney Half went, and you enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it. Do you know, I would enjoy another run more. I think what I didn't know was, again, it's that fear of the unknown. When I started, I felt so prepared. And then everyone in my pen kind of sprinted past me. And I knew that I was meant to start at this certain pace, because it says it on my plan. And my watch was going, slow down. And I was like just mortified that people were like sprinting past me. And then my watch said, then I got a bit tired. And then I realised probably people just were doing what I used to run, which is when you just sprint out. So once I got into the rhythm of it, I really enjoyed it. first 7K was like great. Then I think I hated it. Then I enjoyed it. Then I couldn't find I thought we were coming to the end for like ages before we were, because I'd finished, my watch was like ahead of the time. And also there was signs that I didn't know. So the very last bit, I was like, I'm just going to give up. And then I saw my friends on the side, and they ran with me the very last bit on the side. So that was cute. I think now I'd never done a race really before. If I did a race again now, I'd feel so much more confident. But it's the same as anything. Once you've done it once, I know I can do it, so I know I could do it again. And it's the same as like when you do your first 5K, once you do your first 10K, like, well, I guess I can do it, so I can do it again.
I guess you don't really train with people though, because your whole history has been like training alone in the gym. I know you've got your community. And then do you like running alone? Was it stressful running? Did you run Hackney alone?
Yes, I ran Hackney alone, because this is something, even like park run, I've never really done, because that's still that insecurity, and I should really get back into it. I like running. I sound like such a loner. I hang out with my friends in the pub, but in the gym. No, I do go to the gym sometimes with a friend, but again, kind of do your own thing. I did find it, what did I think? Again, I just kind of it was more of just getting distracted. I was a bit like, oh my God, am I doing something wrong? But it's that thing of like, just now I know that I'd know what to do next time. But I did enjoy it, and I was so proud of myself.
What's your runner's high like compared to your gym high? Obviously that kept you going in the gym, all those endorphins. Do you get it running?
I almost think I don't get as much of a high from gym anymore. I feel better, so I'll be like, I feel good, that's done, and it's like I feel set up for the day, and I complete my day. Running, when I do a good run, I'm like, oh, you can't. Well, you can. There's video, but I feel great. It is such a high. And I think it is the being outside thing and the breathing. I think I breathe much better when I run than in the gym, because you don't necessarily have to control your breathing as much.
Do you think it's also that it's like harder for you? Like it's harder for you to go, like you're saying you find it so easy to go to the gym.
Yeah.
It's harder to go on a run.
Yeah.
Therefore you've like achieved more against what you find is difficult, and that's like satisfying.
I do. There's also just something that makes you feel so alive about running. There's something that feels so right, like the actual, especially because I always run outside. I hate running on a treadmill. And when I'm in the gym, I don't know, it's kind of like dark and it's a bit dirty, and like it's quite guttural. It's just a different sense. Whereas when you're running, there are bits where you're like, it's when I'm on the run, and sometimes it's hard, but it's when you get to a point when you've forgotten you're on a run, and then you're like, oh, I've just run like 3K, I forgot, because your mind starts wandering. That, I'm like, it's the best feeling in the world. But I was just saying to Caitlin, I've now moved to, my run is now Hampstead Heath. Oh my God, and also I have this weird thing where there's something fun about running uphill. So you go quicker, and then you get to the top of the hill, and then you're like, because I suddenly speed up. There's something quite nice. I don't know if it's on your knees or no, it just feels nicer running up. So when I'm running up, I suddenly speed up.
You think running up is easier?
It feels nice, yeah.
That's interesting, because I go really fast up, and Joe's always like, why are you going so fast up? And
maybe it's feel like going to fall back down if you go.
I am the opposite. As soon as it goes uphill even a tiny bit, I'm like, you know, like a builder who has that little bubble that like can tell us something's flat. As soon as something's not flat, I'm like, this is impossible.
Yeah, but that is like, because I actually wind myself, because I like, maybe it's like I want to get past it. So that's been a really interesting challenge, because I've tried to cut it up. So I've tried to run around it in so many different directions to avoid the hills, and you just can't. It's like, it's physically impossible. So that's been much more difficult and maybe a bit slower, but also it's an interesting challenge, because I'm a what's it called? I work smart, not hard. So like, if there's a way to make a run easier, like I will do it, like my downhill run that I used to do. So it's been fun having that challenge, and that's kind of reinvigorated a bit of the difficulty again. Because there was a point when like a 5K would feel easy. That actually a 5K is hard again now, because I'm just like, and it's been quite hot.
And you're training for another half marathon?
No, I'm training for 5K. Oh, nice. A speed 5K, because, well, I'm just really excited. I've always wanted to get quicker, and that was also one of my worries about running. And I think anyone that's scared of running is that, like, I used to think, I almost would give up after the first kilometre if it wasn't what I perceived to be like a good speed. I got over that. And also when you're training for a long distance goal, you don't care as much because you're caring about the distance. And now I'm like, actually, I'd love to be a speedy 5K, because I'm quite a busy woman. And in the morning, if I've got something on, I like to get ready and nice. And if I could just get out on a 5K really quickly, oh my God, that would just change my life. So I'm doing a 5K race, 5K Battersea race on the something, I can't remember, in like 6 weeks.
Nice.
So
it's hard training to be fast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's actually...
Well, I think so. It's funny because I think I'm sure I've got like short twitch muscle fibers. I don't know. I'm quite like bouncy and springy and I'm good in the gym. So I feel like I should be quick, but I'm not.
It will all click at some point. Like the fast girls are properly strong girls. Yeah.
But you're so fast.
No, I'm actually...
But compared to me, you're like 80 times faster than me. I'm so slow. But I think it's also maybe a fear thing of, again, like, I don't want to run out of steam. So then I do often, it'll be like the last kilometer I'm suddenly like, oh, I've actually can just like go way faster. So this has been interesting learning, like pacing is always really hard. That's always something that used to really kick me in the bum before I knew how to run, is I'd shoot out the house really fast, then we were out of breath and I have to stop, or like go too slow.
I feel most self-conscious doing a speed session because I'm more interested in the speed than what I look like. So I just assume I look dreadful and I'm sweating and I can't breathe and everything. So that's quite a step forward to be like, I'm focusing on the speed work. Like if that was kind of your worry at the start.
Yeah, but you have to understand I'm still going so slowly. So it's like, it's not, maybe by the end I'll be quick. No, but it is. And it's like, I don't know, but I think the way the program works, especially I'm only just like in the first like few weeks in, so it's not like too intense, like it's quite a slow, although I did say to Caitlin again, it's like it's not always easy to do. Yesterday I had my long run on this program this week was an 8k and I did 2k and I was so excited to do this, I just I couldn't move anymore. My body was just like no. And it's so frustrating because that's something that is interesting that I think does happen with running, unlike other sports. Sometimes your body is just like sorry. And I was like desperate to be on this run and I was like I don't know if I hadn't eaten enough or something, but that was frustrating. And I don't really get that with gym. I've never really, now I wouldn't have to like quit mid-session. Whereas running, sometimes my legs are just like, sorry, babe.
And I guess like you really have been on a roller coaster in all of your life, but in your exercise life as well. Like what would you tell Oenone back at uni or when you were growing up to help you find exercise in the way that you have? Because I'm sure there's so many people listening who will feel the way that you felt and scared to start.
Well, I think, oh God, I just wish I could go back and get myself into sport because I would have saved myself so much heartache and headache. And I had a really bad relationship with food and spent years like starving myself and making myself sick. And not that exercise should be a means to control your weight, but if only I'd found joy through exercise and movement, I maybe would have been able to alleviate some of that anxiety that I was dealing with, because often like eating disorders aren't really about what you look like, they're tied in some other mental issues. I don't know. I think it's like, everyone does that. You get to exercise first of all, it's such a pleasurable, enjoyable thing, and you should find the joy in it and find the fun in it. And there's, even though we've been talking about goals and stuff, like there's no real such thing as being good at exercising. Like if you get to I tell myself that all the time, it's especially with running, if I feel like I can't bother, I'm like, you get to go on a run, that's so nice, and it's such a short part of your day, and like what you're going to do, just sit and look at your laptop. Like exercise really is just joy. And I don't know what it is about, whether it's just the way young girls are socialised or the way that the school kind of frames it, or whatever it is. I wish I could just go back and be like, just give everything a go because you will find it so much fun. And now I'm at an age where like I'm 30, loads of my friends are getting married and having kids. Like I'm like, can we sign up to a football team? And everyone's like, well, I'm kind of busy. Like I really want to get into football. I think it'd be so much fun. And I could have done that at school, and I could have been maybe really good at netball now, and I could have had these things in my locker which I don't have as an adult. And I'm only just getting into, and I have exercise as this solitary mental health amazing knack or whatever, but I wish I had sport, because I think sport is a whole different thing that's so fun, and it's such a good way to make friends and meet people. I don't even know if that's an answer, but I just go for it. I have a tattoo that that's my mum's handwriting. She always tells me to go for it, and I wish that I just said to myself to go for it.
Almost think we should ask 10 other people to message in, and we can get your whole football team ready.
Yeah, I do. I keep wanting to sign up to girls football. I was some of my friends signed up with me, because we did sign up to girls netball, me and one of my other friends, like a couple of years ago. We were the worst in the league, and it was a recreational team. We were so bad. We lost every game, but it was fun. And actually, I was quite good. I was running around quite quickly.
That is amazing. Well, on that note, we're going to segue over to Steph, who's going to come in with our weekly coaching tip of the week.
My top tip today is on race kit. We want to look good and feel good in our race kit, but we really want to make sure it's comfortable and breathable. Painful chafing is the worst thing to get in a race. Like you do with your race nutrition, practice your race outfit in the few weeks leading up to your race to make sure it's really comfortable and there's going to be absolutely no issues.
Thank you for that coaching tip of the week, Steph. Now our little discussion, myth debunking, is actually, what is your all-time favourite running tip?
It's a tricky one, and I'm sure I've got lots of different tips. But mine would probably be with reference to running form. And I think something that everyone can do, whether you're listening to this, walking to the shops, at home in your living room, or whatever it is, everyone has perfect running form if we jog on the spot. So you cannot jog on the spot badly. You'll be light on your feet. You'll do lots of quick steps. You cannot plod on your heels if you are on the spot. So practice jogging on the spot and then stand up tall, push your hips forwards, and you will fall into a really nice running style. And almost if you can get your form right, the rest of running kind of takes on after that. So practice running on the spot. You don't need to put your shoes on, just do it barefoot. And naturally you'll do quick steps. You'll land lightly on the balls of your feet and stand up tall, push hips forwards, and you'll end up running really nicely.
I should have thought about saying this earlier because actually this was such a big thing for me, but I used to get really bad shin splints and like pain in my feet when I tried to run. And it wasn't until that 2000 and whatever year it was I said in lockdown, when I'd gone to Essex and done a foot analysis or gait analysis, and I got a pair of running trainers and I was like, I can run, because I used to get loads of pain. And so I know running trainers can be really expensive, but if you are just going out and running in whatever your gym trainers or whatever, that might be massively impacting you. Like I used to find running actually really painful. I'd kind of forgotten about that. So my running tip would be, if you can, I know they're expensive, trying to get a pair of specific running trainers or go and get an analysis done, because it could be the missing key to you actually getting out there.
Yeah.
What about you, Anya?
Mine is going to be, not every run has to be hard. I think if you're hating every run and you're finding your easy runs really difficult, you're definitely doing them too hard. There's a place for like the fast runs, which should be fun, and your easy runs, which should be relaxing. And also it does just get easier the more you do, so stick at it. But yeah, make sure you're not dreading every run, because it should, it doesn't need to be difficult. It doesn't need to be hard. Like, yeah, run at your pace.
Amazing. Well, slightly less serious. Oenone, we have some this or that's for you. Mm-hmm. Would you rather have to run 5k every day, just 5k every day forever? Mm-hmm. Forever. Or would you rather run a half marathon once a month forever? So you have to run a half marathon every month forever, or a 5k every day forever?
Oh, sorry, is this a quick fire?
As quick as you can.
Oh, I've got so much thinking. But because if I'm running a half marathon every month, I'm going to have to train for it quite a lot, which would be probably like...
Do you mean you're capable of running a half marathon? You've trained up to run a half marathon, so you've kind of got to maintain your fitness, but endure the difficulty every month.
I think a 5k every day, because what I was thinking is I would like to be able to do other exercise, but maybe I could do could I run 2.5k to reform of Pilates and then run back?
If that adds up to 5k, you can.
Yeah, I'll do 5k every day, because you can do stuff around that, whereas a half marathon every month and my body might be I'm got quite old now.
You're not old. You know, they say you don't get old. Sorry, you don't stop running because you get old. You get old because you stop running.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'll never stop then. 5k every day.
Nice. Fantastic. Okay, would you see?
Oh, sorry, I'll try and be quick fire now.
For those who are listening, Oenone is probably the most fashionable person I've ever met.
Really? Thanks.
Would you rather wear only fitness running clothes all day, every day? You can never wear everyday clothes, or you have to do all your exercise in everyday clothes, and you can never wear sports clothes.
All my exercise
As in, so basically, you have two wardrobes. You have your sports wardrobe and your fashionable wardrobe. You have to do all of your life in sports clothes.
No, all of my life in normal clothes, because I can make fashion clothes look sporty.
You could run a marathon in a nice sequiny dress.
No, because I have dated, I've got Ganni leopard print cycling shorts that aren't gym shorts, but they...
Oh, so you've got fashion...
I've got loads of fashionable clothes that could be...
multi-purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I feel like that's...
Whereas it'd be harder to turn gym kit into a black tie.
I see what you mean when you said you kind of find the easy solution on your runs, that you've kind of found your way out of that hole.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't a perfect question.
What about you, Anya? I feel like it's...
It's gym kit. Nice with gym kit. But you can buy nice gym kit.
Yeah, you can.
The question for me is not even fair, because I only own gym kit. So yeah. Right. So again, I guess another one probably perfect for you. You have quite a lot of jewellery. Yeah. Would you rather never be able to wear jewellery again, or on all of your runs you have to wear all of the jewellery you own?
I actually don't think I could wear all of the jewellery that
Be like a soldier in chainmail.
but I could never not wear jewellery again. So I'd have to, I guess, just throw... No, I have to throw all my jewellery. Could never not wear jewellery. If I don't have earrings on when I leave the house, I have to go back home and put them on.
I remember your ear parties.
Yeah, I've got an ear party on.
Also, if you were self-conscious about the noise of your breath, you'd have a lot of the noise of your jangling.
No, but that's quite a lovely noise. I used to, when I was at school, I used to love it when teachers would like have bracelets on in it because, you know, you weren't really allowed to wear jewellery. And I used to have this one Spanish teacher, and I loved it. Her bracelet would always like tap on the desk. I quite like the sound. It's like,
Hi.
Yeah, I don't have time for jewellery. I wish I had time to put them on every day, but...
this is why I need to be really quick at running, so I've got so many rings to put on in the morning.
Yeah, the thing which is like wearing an outfit and styling an outfit. That's what I need to do. Style an outfit. I just wear clothes.
I feel like there's a spectrum here. We've got you at the top, and you're in the middle, and me at the bottom end of like unfashionable, lack of jewellery.
But not everything. This is just like a two-piece. That's why it's easy. You don't have to style it.
Okay, our embarrassing story this week is actually a bit of an outfit one. And this was sent in by a user, and I love it. I got overtaken by a man wearing a gimp suit in the final kilometre of Edinburgh Marathon. A jet black, all-in-one bodysuit covering him from head to toe, leaving only the eye holes to peer through. He still had carbons on, though, and I assume it was very aerodynamic.
Wow.
Wow.
To you by surprise.
I need to spat my water out.
Is that okay to have on the Runna Podcast? Yeah, I think that's great.
I wonder if that made the person like run faster to catch them back up and sail it.
I think you'd double take.
Yeah, for sure.
Be really sweaty.
Be very sweaty if it's actual like PVC as well.
Yeah.
Quite hard to get in now.
With mouth holes in
Yeah, I think so.
your gels.
There's no pockets for gels.
That's true.
Maybe it's like a zip. You could just...
There's quite a few zips.
Sometimes they have a little belt, don't they? Like, you could have like a holster, situ.
Sound like you're an expert.
I was actually thinking about when I went to a Matrix themed party and I went as what's the girl, Neo, and what's the girl called in the Matrix? Can't remember. Anyway, and I bought an outfit on Amazon, not realizing it was actually a sex outfit, and I had a zip all the way up my bottom, all the way up here. But it was just, I just wanted like a plastic leather all in one, and then I was like, that's funny. And then everyone was unzipping me all night.
Kind of is a speed suit. Yeah.
So you didn't wear that sex outfit for your Hackney Half Marathon then?
No, I wore a little Lululemon outfit, which I spent so much money on because of any excuse to buy new clothes.
Do you have any embarrassing stories?
I got so many. Do you want a sport? Do you want a gym related one, or do you want just a general life one?
So whatever you want to share.
Well, the gym related one you guys will probably remember, but when I just finished uni, I had moved back in with my parents, so I was figuring out what I wanted to do for work, and I made my dad drive me to a fitness first. So I wanted to do box jumps, and I piled up these box jumps higher and higher and higher, and on the last one I hadn't like attached it properly, and I went to a box jump and I fell off the box, and I was like, oh my god, it's so embarrassing, and my headphones had fallen on the floor next to me and I had this big sound. I was like, oh, and I went to stand up and I'd broken my ankle in like 3 places, and that was quite embarrassing. And then I got to the hospital and my dad dropped me off and he was like, you're going to be in A&E for ages, I'm just going to leave you here. I was like, great. And they were like, you've broken your ankle really badly, we're going to put you in this room. So they gave me gas and air and then just left me for ages. I did the whole tank of gas and air, and then they came back and I was absolutely off my face, and they were like, are you an athlete from the local uni, because it was near a uni? And I was like, yeah. I got rushed into emergency surgery and then had surgery done on by this like top surgeon. And then the next day they were like, so what sport do you play? I was like, what? And then so that was quite embarrassing. And then...
Well, there's a lesson there, which is that if ever someone's in A&E, just say that you're a top athlete.
Well, I was honestly, I'd done so much. I'd done the whole tank of gas and air because I was just by myself. I was bored. I think I was posting on Instagram as well, like with my leg. So that was funny. And then another embarrassing story, which just, don't know where it came to me, but years and years ago when I was like probably underage, I was out in Public, which is now Jack's. It's a club with my sister. And we were dancing on the table and Jamie Lang was out with like loads of his friends. I don't know him, but... he was like whispering and flirting with my sister. He came up and whispered something in my ear, and my sister was like, don't you dare, blah, my sister, blah, blah, pulled me away. And I never told her that what he'd said to me was, can you get off my table? But he'd been like flirting with her the whole night, and then I just pretended that he was flirting with me, but he'd said to me, can you get off my table? So that was quite embarrassing.
But that's not embarrassing for you. That's more embarrassing for Jamie.
No, it was so embarrassing for me because he'd been like flirting with my sister, and then he was like, can you get off my table, please? And then I had to be like, oh, my sister's like, oh my god, don't flirt with her, she's underage. And then he actually hadn't been flirting, he just didn't want me on his table.
Wow, there we are. Well, for anyone listening who wants to send us in their embarrassing running or nightclub party stories, please send them to podcast@runna.com on email, or even send us a voice note on Instagram. Otherwise, our final question of the Runna podcast is our silliest. So you're on the start line of your first ever marathon. You're completely naked, but you can bring 3 things. What are you bringing us? Or not bringing us.
Bringing you.
What are you bringing?
Naked. 3 things. Well, definitely a sports bra.
Not a gimp suit.
Not a gimp suit. Oh, actually, if I'm in 3 things, good point. I'm going to wear an all-in-one, because then I think that's one thing.
But still not a gimp suit.
No. Trainers and socks.
Yeah.
Sure. That's fine. No music? No watch? No gels?
The
No
watch.
sunglasses?
No, I think I'd want to be covered, and then I think I'd need trainers. I guess I'd just have to listen to the world, which, as you know, I struggle with. Listen to my own thoughts. And the watch, no, that's okay. I'll just follow the sign.
No jewellery?
Well, I'm only allowed 3 things.
Well, I know, but you know.
Well, no, I definitely would pick being clothed rather than running a marathon in front of loads of other people fully naked. Just the wobbliness of all of that.
Imagine only being like hoops and a bracelet.
Can you imagine? No.
I think that's a pretty safe selection. Shoes, socks.
What's everyone else picking?
I think that's basically what I said.
Yeah, but you don't do socks. I thought you said
I
that.
did watch.
Yeah, watch and do.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I need sunglasses, shoes, and a watch. It's mine. But I just don't really care what.
What, and you'd be fully, but what would it not be? Does it not hurt if it's flapping?
I've never tried. I've never ran naked. So.
That's so interesting. It is a thing. People do naked marathons, don't they?
Well, I know there's like a naked cycle. It's like a big group naked cycle. Yeah, that would be very odd. But it actually, like when I was at Union Southampton, I saw about 200 people cycle up the pavement, up the street in their nakedness.
Do they have to have special seats?
I don't know.
I don't know where it all goes.
No.
Didn't inspect.
Interestingly, weirdly, completely unrelated, but I saw that they did naked speed dating in Balham, which I again thought was quite extreme. You know, just in that exhibit bar. I was looking up events for me and my friend to go to on like Saturday night. I was like, what could we... It was on like Design My Night. And then my friend was like, yeah, I always see that's on. Naked speed dating, just an exhibit in Balham. Imagine going to speed dating naked. I just don't know what anyone's getting on about, but anyway.
Amazing.
There you go.
Right, well, there we are, guys. If you want to see Oenone next week, head to Balham.
Yeah, Saturday night, I'll be there. No, I'll be in Porto, actually, sorry.
Well, there we are, guys. Thank you so much for coming on, telling us about so many amazing things.
Thank you for having me.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Runna. If you want to train for any running goal, please download the app, and don't forget you can use the code Runna Podcast for a 2-week free trial.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, follow, do all of that nonsense, and we'll be back here next week. And if you want to be featured, send us your embarrassing running story. Either send us a voice note on Instagram or send us an email to podcast@runna.com so that we can have a good laugh at your expense in Runna HQ and share it on one of the next episodes.